Jobs and income was the second highest rated quality of life issue, with 23% of the respondents indicating that this was their most important issue to address. We know from our Silicon Valley Latino report card that less than 3% of Silicon Valley Latinos in the region were employed in high-tech jobs. Many of the respondents expressed a strong desire to increase the amount of quality jobs to benefit the region's future workforce. One respondent stated it this way: "We need to provide education opportunities so Latino kids can compete for jobs in Silicon Valley. It is sad to see that the most visible Latinos on high-tech campuses are the janitors or maintenance workers. We can do it. We just need training and opportunities." As we did for education, we provided respondents with 5 proposed solutions for improving jobs and income. They were offering more job training programs, increasing opportunities for Latinos in high-tech jobs, offering more affordable childcare for working parents, offering classes, workshops to help Latinos start their own business, and offering classes and workshops on managing their money. From these options, the top solution selected by respondents was 55% was to offer more job training programs. We looked to see if there were any variations among the respondents based on where they were born. Immigrant respondents were more likely to favor starting their own business than US-born respondents. Further, female respondents were more likely to select affordable childcare as their top solution than their male counterparts. It is now my pleasure to welcome Alex Torres, Corporate Development and Legislative Affairs Manager of East West Bank. Welcome, Alex. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for having me.
Alex, thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about your role at East West Bank. What are your responsibilities?
Well, Ron, thanks again for having me here. Part of my responsibilities is to let people know, particularly in the business community, that we're here. East West Bank is here. We're ready. We're open for business. As the largest certified minority financial institution in the country, we're also working with Fortune 500 companies with their supplier diversity programs to let them know that if they work with us, or when they work with us, that we will also take those funds and those deposits and put them back into the women minority-owned business community. That completes the full circle of the supply diversity and also working with other women minority-owned businesses.
Great. Sounds like a wonderful program. Now, as you read the Voices of Change report, and particularly the emphasis from many of our respondents around jobs and income, did you have any observations about that? Were there any surprises, or just what was your general feel for it?
You know, Rod, no real surprises, but rather more of an affirmation of what we all basically know or have some awareness of, and that is the need for increased career opportunities, the need for our community to increase their education, the need for better access or more access to capital, the desire to start your own business to provide for a better future for yourself, for your family, and for your future. So all of those things are just an affirmation that we are in the right direction, that we recognize what the issues are and what we want. The issue is going to be, how do we get to that step?
Okay. Now, I found it interesting, I don't know about you, but I found it interesting that immigrants were more favorable to starting their own business than as their solution to the jobs and income area. Did you find that interesting, or is that pretty consistent with the Latino customers you've worked with over your many years in the banking industry?
Well, Rod, I did find it interesting, but also, once again, an affirmation. This country was founded on immigrants. Most of the people that came to this country started their own business. And so we just see a continuation of that. New Latino immigrants that are coming in, they see this as the land of opportunity. They see this as a land where they can start their business and build their future and have a successful business. But here, once again, as I stated earlier, is that how do we get to the next level? You may start your own business, but are you a legitimate business? That meaning, do you know what the process is to be a certified minority institution? Do you know what the process is to get a business license? And so on and so forth. It's those types of things that I think that we need to educate our immigrant community more, so that they can become a more legitimate business than what they are now, and not just stay there at the mom and pop level, but they can grow to be a Fortune 500 company in a few years.
That's great. That's certainly what we need. We need more people in those areas of means and influence that they themselves can invest back in the community, like East West Bank does. Now, you've been, as I said, you're a product of Silicon Valley. You've seen this region go through many ups and downs. You've seen the Latino community emerge as a very strong population force. What do you see in terms of the horizon for Latinos in Silicon Valley? You know, bringing out your crystal ball, what's your forecast for our community in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
You know, Ron, we're very fortunate to be living in this generation and in this era, and particularly those that were born in the 60s and in the 70s. We are the first generation to really start taking advantage of the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights movements of the 60s and the passage of it of 1965, right? And so by meaning that is that it's our generation that can be able to take advantage of the opportunities of going to universities, to our colleges of our choices, living in the neighborhoods that we would like, choosing the career path that we'd want, starting our businesses wherever, in whatever neighborhood we choose to. It is up to us now to educate our future generations that dropping out of high school is not an option. Going to college is an option, or starting your own business is an option. It's up to us in our communities and organizations such as the Hispanic Foundation to continue that trend. It would be a sad day that all the struggles that Cesar Chavez and others and Martin Luther King went through us so that we can have these rights, that we as a community don't keep those doors open. And not just open, but swing them wide open so that not only us, but our future generations can continue to be taking advantage of this.
That's great. Well, you're a living example of a local product, as I said, that educated himself and is doing very well in the financial industry. Hopefully more Latinos will be inspired by your example, and we see more Latinos in decision-making positions in our financial institutions here in Silicon Valley.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you, Alex, for sharing your comments, and of course you'll be back with us later in our program. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ron.
Next up is the issue of health.